Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at Helldivers for the PlayStation 4. This title was sent to me by PlayStation Portugal so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it. And I've already made a video on this particular title for TGN, which is the very typical first impressions type video that I tend to do. There's going to be a link in the description if you guys want to check that out. As you can probably tell by now, this particular video is being done in post-commentary, and the reasoning why I wanted to do it in post-commentary is because I wanted to showcase some multiplayer footage, which is something I didn't really do in the TGN video because multiplayer is something of an unpredictable beast. And I wanted to do a very typical gameplay impressions video for the other one. So today I wanted to talk specifically about the multiplayer of Helldivers and what the multiplayer gameplay and multiplayer experience is like. So I'm just going to give you guys a very brief description of how this game plays and what you can expect from it before we get started. And essentially Helldivers is, as you guys can see by now, a top-down shooter. It has been developed by Arrowhead Game Studios, who are the same people who brought you Magicka. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Magicka, it was just this really amazing game where you control sorcerers and you would combine elements to cast completely ridiculous spells. These spells would often result in the death of your teammates because friendly fire was always on. Now, they do kind of the same thing in Helldivers because essentially your friendly fire is always on, but you don't really cast spells. Instead, you have these drop-down things that you can call. They're called stratagems, and in order to bring down those stratagems, you have to do combinations with the D-pad. So, for instance, sometimes putting down a turret, I don't know the exact combination right now, but for putting down a turret, for instance, it would be something like left, right, up, down, left, right, something like that. And then the turret would come down, and you would do this for everything. Now, the interesting thing about when you're playing this in multiplayer is that you actually can summon down vehicles and stuff, which unfortunately every single time while I was doing this recording, every single time I would summon a vehicle, what would happen is the vehicle would just get crashed by someone else's hell pod. Because like whenever you die, you essentially need to get someone else to res you when you're doing multiplayer. It is very different from single player. In single player, whenever you die, you get a certain number of lives, so you can just come right back. But in multiplayer, there's no lives. So when you die, someone needs to cast like the resurrection. Actually, it's called the reinforcement stratagem, and that will bring down your hell pod again, and you can continue playing. I mean, theoretically, your character didn't actually survive. You died, and you were replaced by another character. But I mean, it's still your character. You're still leveling up your character. You're still unlocking stuff for your character, and so on and so forth. But you are going to die a lot by friendly fire. And as a matter of fact, I was in a situation during this video. I'm not sure if it's going to be shown or not, but I was in a situation where they kept rezzing me, and as soon as I was rezzing, things were so chaotic on screen that they kept killing me with friendly fire. Like, it wasn't even the enemies that were killing me. It was just, there was so much stuff on screen at once that they just kept on killing me over and over and over again. And I don't think it was on purpose, but then again, maybe they recognized my name. They were like, you know what? Screw this guy. I hate him. I'm going to kill him, and I'm going to keep killing him. But in terms of how much fun you can have with this title and how much of, let's say, replayability value it has, I have to say that if you take into consideration the price, this title brings a lot of bang for your buck, which apparently is something that a lot of people care about, considering how many people were against the Order 1886 simply because of its length. Well, this title, you can play it potentially like forever. Simply because the way this works is there's like this galactic campaign. I mean, you want to play this title online, for starters. You want to play it mostly online because there's a online galactic campaign that is happening, and is just like every player's contribution kind of makes the game move forward, and events happen and whatnot. So you want to be playing this online. But as you play through the game online, you are constantly unlocking things for your character. This is also synced up in between your PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation Vita, so that whenever you play on a different platform, you still have all the stuff that you had in the previous one. So it's almost in a way like an MMO, with the exception that you can play it locally. You can like bring down your save file and then just play offline and whatnot. And you can just play by yourself if you want to. But when you get to the higher difficulty levels, you really want to have a team, because things get completely chaotic. Like, whenever you put down a turret and whatnot, the chances of you dying from your own turrets is just completely insane. And the amount of armament that you can just bring with everyone's stratagems and whatnot, it's just amazing. Now, I've been having a lot of fun with Helldivers, and I think that Helldivers is a really fun game. As you guys can see from this multiplayer gameplay, I mean, playing multiplayer is just complete chaos. And something that I think I should mention, though, is that this is particularly fun if you are playing with people and you're like on comms, like say you're on Skype or you're on TeamSpeak or you're on PlayStation Party Chat, whatever. If you're playing with friends, you know, and if you are actually chatting with one another, because playing with strangers, I mean, sure, it's fun, but I mean, you guys can't really coordinate. You can't really, I mean, there's a couple of like emotes that you can do, like wait, move here and whatnot, but those aren't really, you know, real comms. And when you have real comms, I mean, I guess it just becomes a lot more fun, because you kill someone and you're like, ha ha ha, it was funny because I killed you, you landed on my grenade, or my health pod landed on the top of your face, you exploded. I mean, you know, that type of thing, which is what happened with me personally with Magic. I mean, when Magica came out, I was with a bunch of friends, and we all just bought the game, and we just started playing, and we were just like laughing for 6 hours straight. Now, I don't think that you would get the same experience from Helldivers. Sure, you'll get a couple of laughs, but Helldivers is doing something I feel a little bit different. It feels like they are trying to be funny, but at the same time, they're also trying to be more serious, because you can tell that, like, when you were in Magica, you could just rain down hellfire and you would have no limits on the spells that you would be able to cast and whatnot. It would just like be complete and utter ridiculousness happening at all times. Helldivers takes it a couple of notches down on the ridiculousness level, and it balances things out by limiting players to 4 stratagems that they can use, and further limiting them by the number of times that you can use a stratagem. For instance, you bring down the stratagem of the static machine gun turret. You can only use that machine gun turret 3 times, and there's a cooldown on it. Whereas, like, you could just cast Firestorm or Thunderstorm, whatever, in Magica as many times as you would want. So they are trying to balance things out and trying to make this a much more challenging experience, which I kind of feel that they succeed in. And at the same time, it doesn't really sacrifice a lot of fun. It does, however, sacrifice a little bit of the comedic value. But to make it up for that, I mean, they are going with that whole Team America vibe to it. So it's kind of like whenever your characters are killing stuff and whatnot, they're going, how'd you like to taste of liberty? Or have a nice cup of freedom, you know, freedom never sleeps. You know, they're constantly saying this kind of stuff, which I find to be pretty fun. Whether or not this kind of like strikes your fancy type of humor depends from person to person. But I still think the game is a lot of fun, particularly, as I've mentioned, if you can play it with your friends. The game has a wide variety of objectives spread out throughout different planets. It has a lot of planets that you can play in, and it has a lot of different races that you can fight against. Well, a lot of different. There's 3 different races, but each of them has like a ton of monsters that you can fight against. The races also have like some kind of a backstory that supports the whole Team America motto to it. Like, you kill bugs because when they decompose, they drop oil. But then the game tells you, but that's not the reason we're killing them. We're killing them because they're too dangerous to be left alive. Then there's the cyborg race, which apparently one of them perpetrated a terrorist act against Super Earth, which is your faction. And this one cyborg killed like 8 people or something in a bombing in a mall, something like that. So it's like it was declared that we must kill all cyborgs, you know, that kind of exaggeration that people tend to make satire of with America. Then there's another one, which is the there's an alien race that has weapons of mass destruction, and we need to go ahead and destroy this alien race because they have weapons of mass destruction, and you can't have better weaponry than Super Earth, otherwise be prepared to get killed. That is actually what they say in the game. Now, I'm not saying that I'm like, you know, one of those people that judges America on their actions and whatnot. don't even, like, get me there. I'm not even going after any of that at all. I find this to be funny for the simple fact that I enjoy this kind of satire, and that's that. So there's the satire to it. The multiplayer gameplay is pretty solid. You can call all kinds of stratagem. One of my favorite stratagems, though, has to be the vehicle. You just call in this vehicle, this armored transport, and you have like 2 machine guns on the sides, which 2 of the Helldivers can go into. You have a turret on top, which another Helldiver can go into, and you have just a space in front for the driver. So one of you drives, and the other 3 of you are just manning turrets. I think that is one of the really cool things. There's other things that you can summon, like you can summon in a mech that looks like a 40k dreadnought. That is also pretty fun, but that is not very friendly to a multiplayer environment, because when you do that, your mech basically has this minigun turret in its arm, and if you just start unloading that, you're going to be killing a lot of people. Like you will see throughout this video that I have a lot of trigger discipline, because I am trying not to kill my teammates as much as possible. They, on the other hand, several of them just don't give a damn. They just keep killing me. They keep killing each other. And I guess that's one of the things about this game. It's just like, it's fun killing other people while you're trying to do missions. It's just fun. Now, I think Helldivers is a lot of fun. If you guys want a more detailed, like with me explaining every single thing and upgrades and whatnot, and how do you get upgrades and all that stuff, there's going to be a link in the description to the TGN video. However, I personally enjoyed it quite a bit. I think that if you like top-down shooters, and especially if you liked Magicka, I think you're going to enjoy this quite a bit, even though Magicka technically is not a top-down shooter. But, yeah, you like top-down shooters, you like Magicka, you're probably going to enjoy Helldive. Even if you don't like Magicka, there's still a chance that you enjoy Helldive. But for a more detailed video on the mechanics and all that, and how you summon stuff, objectives and whatnot, just go watch the other one. It's in the link in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this multiplayer gameplay to give you guys an idea of how the game plays in multiplayer as well. Leave me all your comments, feedback, all the kinds of good stuff in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.